Good morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. I'm so glad that you took the time and joined us today for Morning Moments. Today, I have another TV host as a guest. She's actually another host from God's view, and I am so thrilled to have Charlene Baktamarian on Morning Moments. Charlene, welcome to Morning Moments.
Thank you so much for having me. You said that name like a pro, Baktamarian.
Thank you.
That was really good.
If you only knew how many names I slaughtered, it really would have meant something.
Well, you didn't slaughter that one. It was great, which I never, names are hard to pronounce. So it never offends me or, anything. If they can say it halfway, that's good with me. But yeah, I am Charlene Baktamarian. I am the executive producer and host and founder of God's View TV shows. And of course it's God's, he's just letting me be a steward and being a part of what he's doing in this earth today. And, we were talking before we come on, Andy, about why we do the things we do. Well, I ask people many times, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And what are you doing it for? And if you can't answer that question with because of people, because you want to help people, then you have to go back to the drawing board or get out of this. And I don't want to call it a business, but a ministry, because heaven's heart is people. Always been people, always going to be people. I had somebody ask me one day, how did you get to where you were? And this is exactly what she said. Don't give me that crap that, it just happened and God, and you just did this and did this. And she said, I want some specifics. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I did. And this made her angry. I said, I loved God. I loved people. And his plan just kept unfolding. Because each day when I get up, it's about people. I don't pretend that. I want to promote and I want to help people be everything Jesus died for them to be. Because there's so many people out there that they get so far and then somebody squashes that. And somehow they believe the bad so easily. And they say, oh, I wasn't called. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. But yes, you are. The battle is always from the day someone was born, for Satan to make them believe that the truth is a lie and the lie is the truth. And they fall for it greater in the call of God on their lives than I've seen anywhere, because that's where Satan wants to target. So if he can shut their voice up, if he can shut them down, then they can't be in the earth and encourage that one person. Because a lot of people say, oh, I have nothing to say, or I'm just one person. Well, Joshua was one person. Moses was one person. David was one person. You know what I mean? And they did big things. And that's where they got to know that if they're taking the pie to their neighbor, that's a big deal, because that person may the night before been so lonely and wanted to die, wanted to kill themselves because they had nobody in their lives. I find myself in bathrooms with flight attendants and restaurants with waitresses and waiters, and because there's so much need for people to be loved and prayed for, and let them know that they're important, that they have a call, that they need to take their position in this move of God, because they are important. There's not one person that is on this earth that does not have an assignment. And assignments, when I'm up at my lake place, because my husband and son are professional walleye tournament guys, fishers, and they're also pro hunt. I mean, they hunt, trophy hunting, and we do give the meat to the homeless and stuff like that. And so when I'm up there, I walk the perimeters of that lake, because I'm not just there hanging out. I'm there on assignment. We have an assignment every single day, wherever we are. If we're in an airplane, if we're in a restaurant, to bless people, to be a blessing, to help them. And so when I walk that perimeter, I say I am bringing the glory of God to this area, and I command everything to come in line with heaven, and I pray, because I'm on assignment to bring that whole territory into the presence of God. And I just play my music and I march and I pray and I walk, and I just ask that heaven kisses earth and brings the glory of God into all them homes, into that area, that it could shift and bring somebody to the place to where they would say, create in me a pure heart, renew the right spirit within me. Because when we speak something, Andy, we both know that all of this existed because of a word spoken from God. And so when we speak something, and especially this year, God said he's putting an anointing on the words that we speak forth. And he said it's like not just a small pebble, but a boulder that ripples through the water. It ripples through the atmosphere so that when we speak it, that heaven again can kiss earth and something can manifest and burst forth and birth forth, basically. And right now, people must recognize when they speak to somebody or speak into the atmosphere that something is happening. Something is happening. You know, that's why God said, you know, there's power in our words. There's power in what we speak. It's life or death. So he said, choose life. And so many people have been broken and will not go forward. They've just shut down because somebody did not speak life into their life. Somebody did not take the time to say, you are important, you are worthy, you are valuable. And what you have something grand to offer this earth, to offer the kingdom, to offer people. And when you lay hands on somebody and you speak life into them, it's like this breath comes into them. I've seen it hundreds of times. And they go, yes, I am important. Yes, I can do this. Because I was just a broken little girl from a broken home, drug addict in Detroit, on the streets of Detroit. And God took me, that broken little girl that was a mess, and put me all over the world today. We're in billions of homes. We on tons of networks and radio and all of these things because of God, because he saw that I had something important to say. And when I got born again, it was like the day I got born again, my husband and I said it out of our mouths the very same moment, the very same time. And have served the Lord since. We're 49 years this year, married. And so we were very young when we met in of course, in Detroit. And we got married here in Cheyenne, which is a very long story. But the thing is he took me and had to unwrap everything that my father had said every day, because there was no love. I was full of rejection. I was full of disobedience. I was full of rebellion. I was full of anger. I was full of hate, all of the things that are not the character of Christ. Because we know in Galatians 5:22, it's love, joy, peace, gentleness, faith, patience, all those things. Against such there's no law. Well, I did not walk in love, joy, peace, gentleness, all those kind of things, because I came from a father that was, there's always screaming, beating, all this kind of stuff in my home. So every time my father would say, you're only good for one thing, you'll never amount to anything, I hate you, you better go find the father who had you. He would say that to all my siblings, because there was 7 of us. And so when I came into the kingdom, and the moment I came into the kingdom and felt that love of God, everybody that I took in the world, and people will still tell you that I'm still friends with so many people from Detroit that have now come to the Lord, that I took everybody in there, prostitutes, I took everybody in always. I was always taking people in. And I'm just doing the same thing now. I can't stand people to be rejected or hurt. I want to see that love, that moment I received Jesus Christ into my life. That love, I don't even know how anybody, since I'd never felt that. It just changed my whole life, my whole outlook, my whole perception. I'm thinking, wow. That day I threw away drugs, cigarettes, all kinds of stuff. Now, did I still have a mouth like a truck driver? Because that's what I was taught. That's what I learned. That's what I grew up. But quickly, all of that changed because of the love of God, because of the presence of God. And he walked me through all those things, just like he'll walk everybody else through it. And that's why I always tell everybody when they come to the Lord, I say, listen, and because on my show, well, his show, God's View TV shows. I always take the last 2 to 3 minutes to bring people to the Lord, because I'm just a talk show. If I'm not reaching people, we've seen many people saved. And that's just what God called me to do. I mean, everybody don't have to have an altar call at the end of their show, but that's a mandate, an assignment on my life for my show. And I always tell them, don't wait to clean up. God came when we were yet sinners. We were all a mess. I was a mess, but he wanted me. He came to seek and save the lost. And he came to seek and save those that are lost today that are listening to us, Andy. He doesn't want them to clean up. He wants them just the way they are.
Yes. I love the saying that God accepts us just the way we are because he loves us, but he also loves us enough to not let us stay that way.
Amen.
And
Amen.
he let him do the cleaning up from the inside out, not from the outside in.
Yeah, because otherwise it's religion. That's why I say don't wait. It doesn't matter what you've just done. We all just done a lot of stuff the day he came into our life. And then he starts cleaning you up and changing you. Man cannot change you. Religion through man tries to change you, but there's never a change if it's not that true love and that presence of God. That's why he wants you just the way you are. And you and him will go on your journey because he knows how to fix you. Nobody else does, only God.
Amen. Some of you've heard this, and now you've maybe listened to the other host from, because I've now had all 4 co-hosts on God's View, and you're going, man, I can't believe all 4 of these women together in a show. It's wild, folks. You'll just won't believe it. I want you to tune in to their show if you haven't done that before. Listen online. It's easy to get to. We're going to put the links down below in the comment section how you could get a hold of them, and so that you could follow through this. They've got some great dynamic guest and conversation, and so I want you to take the time to look them up. More important than all of that, when this interview is over, I want you to take the time and pray for Charlene and her husband and her family, that God would continue to bless them and continue to do the work through them. And I don't mean just say you're going to pray. Stop right now as soon as this interview is over and pray for them. And God will continue to bless them, because God's got a plan, a hope, and a future for them and for you too. And you've tuned into this interview today, or watched the recording for a reason. And it's important for you to seek that out and to get a hold of us or somebody and tell us that, hey, it's touched me and I want to know what the next step is. Thank you so much for joining us today for Morning Moments. And thank you for joining us as well. And I would like to encourage all of you that's listening, keep on coming back, and may God richly bless you. God bless you.